YouTube. This is my nv200 window. It's coming out of an old van, so it's got this stuff here, this black adhesive, and I've already done a short showing that this was quite easy to take off, but I thought I would do a long form video to actually give people the right idea of how long actually doing this job takes. So I'll angle you down so you don't see my mug, and that's probably good enough. So just look for a bit where you can kind of grab a bit, get your trusty paint scraper, and then kind of slide it almost almost like a cutting action. Be careful, they are sharp. Don't want anyone getting hurt copying me. So what I'm doing is just holding the piece of adhesive, and then making a rocking motion like that, and it mostly comes off pretty easy. I guess it'd be nice if they did this for you, but they're going to charge you if they do, so it's also nice that they don't, and it's an easy job. Sort of satisfying if you get it right, because you feel like you've earned the bargain that you got the windows for. I think I looked on eBay for these, and when I first looked, it was just over Christmas, they were £100 a piece, and that's including delivery. And I thought, well, I'll just hold off buying those for now, just because I was getting an idea of price. I was sort of happy with £100 a window, but anyway, I didn't buy them as soon as I saw them. I think I put them in my watch list, and we were on holiday, as I say. We were at Christmas break, and I was just checking eBay in between doing other odd jobs, and I was driving back as well from down south, so I had about a 250-mile drive to do. I didn't really want to be thinking about buying windows for a van. So yeah, didn't buy them initially, and then about a day later there was a 75% or a 25% off offer, and it was on both the items because they were listed separately, and I thought, okay, that's pretty good. There was another rear quarter panel window. It was a lot less. It's probably still on there. It's for 35, but I wanted two matching ones, and I knew that these were from the same seller. They're obviously going to be from the same vehicle, a right and a left, and so the things like the tints were going to match. I don't know whether I could have bought one, the matching one, and from the cheap one, and saved, what would it have been, 75, I might have saved 40 quid there, but I might have been annoyed forevermore that my van would have slightly different tints of windows. So plus these came packaged together, and came really quickly, considering the state of the mail and stuff at the moment, parcels and just Royal Mail striking and whatnot. I was really pleased. They came in about 2 days, so kudos to whichever courier firm that was. They did a great job. Apologies because I don't know, didn't really bother checking. One thing was a bit ridiculous was they had these packed separately in really well packed small cardboard covers, and then because they were packing them together, they just found an absolutely humongous box and sort of chucked them in and packed it. It was well packed, but it was more the sheer size. I think I'd have been okay with it just being the two parcels just strapped together. I don't think they'd have got damaged, but I guess if you're a breaker's yard, you're doing this for a living, and you've got cardboard lying around, then they probably know better than me how to package their goods. I always find it amusing when you get a very small item in a ton of cardboard. It's usually Amazon that does it, but they're getting better and better at not wasting cardboard. It's a bit of an art to doing this job and filming it simultaneously. So you're kind of trying to watch what you're doing, but you're also trying to watch the camera watching what you're doing. So probably take other people a bit less time because they're not bothered about getting what they're doing on camera. Anyway, yeah, so I have a couple of windows here, and oh, that's a useful thing. Is that a useful thing? That's like a spacer. I think that's a spacer. Right, borrow that. That looks like another one. Yeah, so 150 quid for 2 windows, which is not too bad, I don't think. I managed to get my seats for £50, and that was for both back seats. And so at the moment, and that actually included all the seat belts as well. The guy who bought it off had converted his camper to his van to a camper with a rock and roll bed, and you know, all these things were either going to be sold separate or scrapped. But my use case is slightly different. I need to have one vehicle that replaces my Nissan Leaf for its daily driving, so you know, commuting and shipping, playing daddy taxi, and I also want to be able to take us to nice places and camp, so I could have done a rock and roll bed, but I just feel like if the kids are in it all the time being shipped around, I'd want something a little less potentially dangerous. I think the rock and roll beds are great for the occasional drive where you ferry in a couple of passengers, not very far, but I think real seats have a little bit more protection, even if they are the foldy down ones. And the beauty of those is it's only 2 bolts that hold it in. 2 bolts, and then like it's almost like a seatbelt mechanism that bolts it into the floor. So given that that's the case, if I want to convert it back to a panel van very quickly to do a job, you know, fill it with whatever, then it's very, very quick. It's 4 bolts and it's done. I've been very fortunate. There's been quite a few people willing to lend their expertise, or had a chap called, I think it was Ian Matthews, I might have his name wrong now, but he lent me the steel for doing the adapter plates for the seats, because the commercial nv200 that I've got isn't rolled out of the factory with the little welded attachments for putting seats in, because why would they? You know, it's not designed for having seats, but it is the same van. It's just they just don't do things that are unnecessary. And again, you know, the van's going off putting the seat belts in tonight, well, for tomorrow rather, and there's no seat bolts in the frame, but that just means that my garage has got to fabricate something that's that they can then certify as safe for the MOT. I'd much rather they did it than I did it, on the basis that A, they're certifying it, so they're probably going to pass it, and B, it's going to be safer than if I did it, I think. Or similarly, you know, they are professionals and I trust them. I think my thought process on jobs like this is know your limitations, know what you're happy with going to, and know the legislation, know the kind of... Oh, something's fallen off in my washroom. So clearly I'm rambling a bit, but I am still working on this window. We're up to 10 minutes now, so I was wrong about it taking 5, but it's not like it takes all day. I've got only 2 of these to do, and I'd be quite happy to do more if I could think about getting door windows as well. My dog's looking at me like I've gone mad, talking to myself. I suppose that's true. Maybe she thinks I'm talking to her, I don't know. She just wants to go out again. So maybe take her for a walk after this. And that's the other thing of having a van. You've got 2 kids and you want to go cycling and you've got a dog. Just like, it's so much more convenient having that extra space. I've got a tow bar, so hopefully also can use, well, I've got a buzz rack, which is a kind of shelf that you can stick extra luggage on, which is great. So you can travel in comfort, and then when you're sleeping, I guess you can bring some of the stuff into the van underneath the bed, keep it from getting nicked. I've got the bulk of it off now. I'm just going round and feel a bit like when you see the Japanese carpenters and they're just planing paper thin bits of wood off. That's all I'm doing now, is getting it really clean. And I think maybe there'll be some sort of chemical that I can use to get the very last residue off, but whether or not that's necessary, sorry, I don't know. I'll consult Google about that. Kind of nice is I've almost got a guideline of where the previous silicon was, so as where's to put the next one, you know. So, I wouldn't really know. That's assuming that this was done correctly. I imagine these were factory ones, so I'd assume they do quite a few of these if they're factory ones. I guess the other nice thing about doing your own windows is they do get smashed. I know that window claims don't make you, they're not supposed to make your policy go up, but you know, you pay in excess, I think, every time. So it might be a job that I consider just doing for myself next, if these ever do get smashed. Right, I think that is now pretty much done. Now maybe it's, try a bit more there. There we go. Yeah, brilliant. Well, thanks for watching. and listening. I'll see you soon.